Hello everybody and welcome to IRL Season 13 F1 Round 8 here in Japan. This corner is made up of This track is made up of 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right, making up this 5.8 kilometer circuit with the best overtaking opportunities coming down to 130R and approaching the first turn on the start finish straight. Of course, there are some other overtaking opportunities here, such as Spoon and... oh, what's this one called? I think this one is Spoon. Yeah, Spoon here. There is an opportunity to overtake there, of course, if you get it right, but any little bit of contact can send you flying and spinning if you're not careful. There's also the hairpin just after the S section that can, pose a few little dive-bombs, a cheeky slip up the inside and you're in your upper extra position. So, of course, it might look twisty and difficult and very tight, but there are plenty of overtaking opportunities, of course, as you can see the chicane here as well, also an opportunity. But coming into this race today, Edward Hart is still in the lead of the driver's standings, only just so, because behind him by 3 points is Brandon Glover, who unfortunately, last week, had the opportunity to take the lead of this driver's championship, but it got involved in an incident in the final few laps which sent him down the order and only let him close up the gap to Edward to be behind by 3 points. As you can see, one of the Aston Martins is in front of Lewis Curtis here right now, coming on the exit of the S section. So, getting a little bit wiggly on the rear there on the exit, coming into the two right-handers that I've also forgotten the name of, unfortunately. But Lewis Curtis again, always looking quick, but very, slightly on the rear. Speaking of Brandon Glover, the man we were just talking about, spinning round into the wall, having to let people through. It looks like a Williams maybe, and the AlphaTauri having to go past him as he slips up and slides into the wall, maybe even ruining his set of tyres. Allowing him to set himself a lap now, but through the hairpin, as you can see, it's quite wide. There's enough opportunity to be able to sneak your car up the inside, even around the outside if you're looking to get that nice good run, running up to Swin as a Haas as well, gone facing backwards. As another man I don't know the name of, I don't even know what, I'm just going to call them O2 because I don't know how to say their first name. IUJT, but they're saying a 1:31.1, which I imagine it will get beaten. It's not the fastest lap time, I don't believe. I believe lap times are expecting just under the 1:30 mark, as those cards sets to 30.7, as we Paco Suarez going nicely in his Alpines, Blue Thunder, who I believe is called Bobby. I'm guessing off the standings, setting 1:30 flat now, so maybe a 1:29, a low 1:29 to 1:28 we're expecting with Ross Denham, the man who hasn't finished a race yet this season. So it's a 1:56.1, as there you go, Paco coming across line with a 1:30.7, some pretty consistent lap times coming in. There we go, Cameron Young coming with 1:29.6, my predictions and expectations keep coming lower and lower. Maybe a 28.5 is what we're looking at if anyone can improve my entire second. But look at that camera angle coming through the first sweeping corner. We've seen Kimi Räikkönen make some beautiful moves there in 2005-6, I believe it was, on the Renault of, was it Fisichella? Why do I want to say Fisichella? I'm not actually sure who was on, but to win from about 17th on the grid or something ridiculous like that, to win the race in the final lap, fantastic stuff. So of course many moves can be made, but any mistakes on this track, you can get punished. And when I say punished, I mean it. Just walls are close enough where you can retire. A spin can cost you dearly. Traction is so important on this track. Getting a good run out of every corner, getting your entries and your lines and just everything right matters so much. So today is going to be a test of consistency and integrity. How much can you keep the car on the track? How much can you keep it in a straight line? How precise can you be? Because it's a very precision-based circuit, it's Japan, but one of the classics, and this is why we love it so much, is technical brilliance. You have to be a true expert on the car to be able to achieve true greatness around this track. Some people are great, some people might fall behind here today. ERS management as well is going to be quite important. There's not too many heavy braking zones, everything's quite light on the brakes, as Matt Hatton comes across the line with a 31.8. I'm sure he's going to want to do better than that. Brandon Glover as well coming over with a 46.1. It seems like he's not doing too well today so far. Can he actually keep this car on the track throughout the entire of the race? Is he going to be able to try and overtake Edward Hart in this championship, who is currently, again, Brandon, keep it on the track, son, he has no traction. Brandon Glover's not looking steady here today. We've got 18 drivers, don't forget, so that's 8 positions where you could fall outside of the points. Hello, football clips, you say laggy. Is that as in the lobby is laggy? Or the stream is laggy? I don't know. But Brandon Glover, as I was saying, not looking steady here today. He's not looking good in his first few laps. Of course, it's only the start of qualifying. That can tell a lot. 46.1 ain't great. Means he's probably spun on his lap, which is not what we like to see. But again, Edward Hart, looking down the order, is once again not here. So Brandon has got a second chance to try and get himself ahead in this driver's standings. But again, like last week, is something going to happen that's going to mess up his run, his chance, his opportunity, or is he going to be able to capitalise this time and really get himself up the order and make a step and make a gap between him and his rival? Lordy as well have been very consistent this season. Again, having a little bit of a spin, but been very consistent this season, finishing in the points in every single race, bar one. I was like, oh wait, no. Wait, yes. I'm not being stupid. But 8, 6, 8, 8, 0, 6, 12 are the number of points he's got so far this season. So very much in the midpoints, very consistently so, just outside of the top 5 on most parts, most occasions. But not a bad run from him at all. Only in Spain did he not get any points, coming in 0. But what it looks like right now, to be in the top 7 or so drivers, you have to be consistent. Edward Hart getting a win, unfortunately a DNF, but a third, a win, and 12 points, which would be 5th, I think. No. That'll be, yes, no, 4th. Okay, only one race he hasn't finished on the podium, and didn't start in Italy, of course, but he's leading the Drivers' Championship right now. And then again, Brandon on the podium every single race, bar 3, unfortunately. But everybody up at the top of the standings, as you expect, are getting on the podium pretty consistently, doing well for themselves. Fergus Wilson as well, not starting a few races, but sitting quite happily in P3, and he won last time out in Monza, so not bad from him at all. I need to remember which one's Fly High, I believe. No, who was Fergus Wilson? Can't remember. I'll figure it out. But Cameron Young, again, a fast man, part of the Red Bull team, who are looking to do well in the Constructors this season. They're not doing too badly for themselves, currently sitting in 3rd place, 3 points behind the Mercedes team, who are then, in turn, about 30 points behind the Aston Martin team. So they're going to want to put in a shift if anyone's going to want to catch up to Aston Martin this season, because they are looking strong and they're looking quick with Kevin Harrison and Brandon Glover in their roster. So a very difficult pairing to come up with. They come up against, you know, very competitive drivers, very willing, very determined, consistent. Oh my good grief, Cameron Young! That snap on the rear he got there as Lewis Curtis sets a 129.5, but Cameron Young, having to let everyone through, as his rear just snaps from him and goes flying off into the gravel, lucky not to get beached. Well done to him for keeping the car going. That's actually another thing. Oh, and the hot tyres sending him round again. Cameron, keep it going, son. I mean, with these, somebody else ahead of him. Oh, that's Jared, actually, his teammate. The Red Bull team are not having a good time with their traction. Look at that, as Trappy Formula. What was his name? Trappy Formula. Oh, man, I need to get up the thing. Hang on. But the Red Bull team not looking great here on their traction. They're just spinning off into the wall once again. Can I find the actual... I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out who's who. This happens pretty much every week. There's always people that crop up that I can't remember the name of. I genuinely cannot find it. So Trappy's just going to be Trappy for today because I cannot be bothered. But anyway, none of the news. Back to Red Bull. Not looking good to try and build their prospects for their Constructors run. But Mercedes again, Alfieri not having the best season of his life, currently sitting in P5, which is probably the highest I've seen him all season. If I'm honest, not having the best season of his life, of course, but our current title holder, I mean, at this rate, I don't think he's going to be able to keep that up. You know, keep that title for himself, considering his lack of form at the beginning of this game. But he's looking quick right now, though. A few lockups and not the perfect lines, but looking pretty quick as is. So unless he goes for a mental final run at the end of this season, then I'm not convinced by him as he passes the Alpine ahead of him, coming up into Spoon in 5th. The revs are high. There's a lot of strain on the car around this track. Like I said, very difficult to keep consistent, as Lewis Curtis actually retired out of the session as well. That's something I missed. I'm not sure how, but looking quick today is Lewis Curtis. But again, another one of the drivers who just cannot really seem to keep the car on the track. You know, get it to the end of the race. Lewis Curtis quick, but not bringing it to the line every single week, which is what you need to be able to win championships. So we're looking to improve on that next season as IRL Fioli comes across the line 4/10 quicker than he was before, only 7:29.8. However, still stuck behind Bobby in 4th. Bobby's looking quick and he's doing quite well for himself in this stage this season. He's only just started coming, only really started joining the lobbies, being in the races in the last 3, in fact, and he's finished second, and 10th. The man from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, doing very, very well for himself. He's sat up in 8th and only finished 3 races. So that just proves that as long as you can cross the line in a high enough position, then you can do quite well for yourself, for sure. But here's Laggy, another name I'm unfamiliar with. Trappy and Laggy, I cannot remember. I'm going to see if I can find a driver's list from Kevin sent to me. I cannot see it in the Discord and it's annoying me. Because I have got a reserves list. If I can find somebody there, then I'm all good. But it doesn't. Oh no, Fergus Wilson. That's Fergus Wilson. Trappy Formula's Fergus Wilson. Okay, I can remember that. Our Fergus, however, he's been doing very well this season. If we comment on that, you know, where was he? Actually, was he doing very well? I'm sure he was. There he is, yeah, 3rd. In his Alpine, I mean, he's got himself a permanent drive and he's won 3 races out of the 4 he's finished. The only other race he's finished 10th in. So, he's not doing too bad for himself at all. Maybe a late push for the title. He's not too far away, to be fair. Only about 25, 26 points away as IUJT02 might be getting himself beached here. Lucky to keep it on the track as he's a rear-wheel drive car. He's reversing very far into the gravel though. I'm not sure what's going on here. Is he going to get the car going again? He's just kind of stopped. Is he waiting for cars to come through? I guess so. I guess IRL must not have the beached option on, because he seems to be able to get out of that gravel pretty quickly, pretty easily. But here's Brandon Glover looking to improve on his time. I mean, he's setting the 3 minutes so far, so I imagine he's either going to pull into the pits or go around again. We only got 3 minutes left to go in qualifying though, so he's going to want to make up his mind pretty quickly. He's going to want to pull in, get out. There you go. Brandon is going for another lap. Hasn't got long to do it though, so he's got to do it right. He's currently set down in P16 with 146.1. That is not good enough for him. Only 2 retirements in this session so far, so not many positions where he can just kind of leap up. Going through that S section, we haven't really done the tour around the lap just yet, but the S section, of course, one of the trickiest sections of track in all of F1. So much consistency and precision is needed, like I said before, but plenty of overtaking opportunities can arise if you try hard enough. Cameron Young's taking 29.3, putting himself ahead of Fergus Wilson. Up the top there, coming into these 2 fast right-handers, which have a name that I cannot remember. Dunlop curves. There you go, I'm a genius. Coming up into the hairpin now is our Brandon. Can he take this line nicely? A little bit of a lock-up. People seem to go on quite deep into there, but that's what you need for a good exit as well, of course. Now this run up here, if you have your overtake open, you can try and mount a move up into Spoon, but then you do get past, then you're going to get yourself slipstreamed all the way down into 130R. The fast left-hander that, again, you have to get very, very, very correct to not, in order to not crash, especially if you're on the outside. If you get pushed a little bit too far wide, you dig up in a curve, you swing into the wall and you die. I've done it a few times myself. There you go, look how quick that is. To be able to make a move there, ridiculous stuff. You have to be side by side, truly If you're a little bit behind, you have to back out or you're finished. Going over the chicane as well, very slow, probably the slowest corner on this track besides the hairpin. Coming down to open his DRS and come across the line to go P5, just Brandon Glover with the 129.8. Not bad from him at all. His teammate Kevin currently with a 130.7, down in P10. We know he can go quicker than that, and I'm sure he's going to try and go quicker than that. He's run these tyres a little while, didn't give Brandon any tow. It looks like he might be going it for this lap. Again, they're not leaving it right to the end of quali, the Aston Martin team. Maybe he's not going for it this lap actually. His ERS is low, however. Is Kevin going to have enough time to be able to pull into the pits and go out again? It doesn't look like it, so Kevin might be starting outside the top 10 once again, but that's pretty normal for him. Yep, pulling into the pits, that is Kevin's qualifying over. Kevin, no stranger to starting outside the top 10, of course. Is what he's famous for, his ridiculous, wacky strategies. And it does work for him. I mean, he's doing very well for himself. He's currently 6th in the standings, finishing every race so far this season. Only once on the podium, however, last week, getting himself in 2nd after the absolute disastrous safety cars we had. Kevin did well for himself and got himself up the table, and again, keeping consistent without penalties, got himself into 2nd place. But here we go, Connor, a pretty quick driver in pass, and he looks pretty nice. He looks pretty good. Cameron Young is retired from the session as well. No one's going to be able to, he's not going to be able to improve on his time. Everybody is here to improve now. Fergus Wilson looks like he's probably the one to do it the most. Maybe Bobby down in 4th as well, but Fergus, he's been looking quick when he is on the track. Of course, sitting in 2nd right now, teammates with our resident Paco Suarez. So the Alpine team might be looking quite nice in this later stage this season, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to be able to catch the consistency of Alfa Romeo. Oh, did you see that catch from Fergus Wilson to keep the car on the track? Fantastic car control from him. Brilliant to see. Still starting 2nd, keeping a high gear to the Dunlop curves in order to not rev out the car too much, not cause too much wheel spin. That seems to be the tactic for him here. You can see the setup is probably very twitchy in the high revs. So keeping a nice high gear, keep it low on the exits to not spin up those wheels, so we can just stay fast on the straights and glide through the corners and really balance kind of on a pinpoint on traction. But he's absolutely flying down the straight over about 310 kilometers an hour. His fuel is low, of course, it's as light as it can be. Bobby goes onto provisional pole with a 129.2 coming into the chicane now. He's only just beaten Cameron Young. There's an a Haas in front of Fergus Wilson. He spins into the wall. It's not going to be any improvement for him as he loses it in the final section, the final little part of the track. Matt Haddon's going to come across the line now, opening his DRS and only goes up one more position, beating Connor ahead of him to finish in P12. And Luke Baker down in 18th, spinning around. We've got a full 20 driver grid here in Japan as well, as Hamrick joins the session a little bit late, and if we can get on and Luke Baker can finish his laps, that'd be fantastic. But it's going to be a little while. But anyway, our pole sitter for today is going to be Bobby Bukanemi. I don't know how to say his name properly, if I'm truly honest with you, so we're just going to call him Bobby. Again, his first pole position of the season. Very well done from him. Can he translate that into his first win? 2 second places, of course, and a 5th place, as he had so far this season. So hopefully going to try and translate that into a win. Only a 10th quicker than the retired Cameron Young, however, with Fergus Wilson coming home in 3rd. Lewis Curtis as well down in P4. Retiring very early on, however, so we're going to have to see how his race pace is. Can he keep it on the track, keep it consistent? Alfieri with one of his best qualifying sessions so far this season, coming home in P5 for the Mercedes team. Very well done from him, hopefully doing good for their constructors. Paco Suarez in P6 for Alpine. Brandon Glover not having the best qualifying session of his life in P7. Ross Denham in P8. Lordy in 9th. Laggy in 10th. Kevin P11. Matt Hatton P12. Connor 13th. RUJT in, where was I? 13th, 14th? 14th, and everybody else is somewhere else, and that doesn't matter so much. There will be no formation lap, of course, so we're going to prepare ourselves to go straight into the race. Prepare yourself. It's going to be an intense first few corners. It's going to be crazy. There is a chance of rain. There always is in Japan, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But the first few corners, it looks blue skies, bright as you can be. So no worries for the drivers here today, unless everything changes very suddenly. But again, The first S section is going to be insane, and if I'm able to keep up with it, I deserve a Medal of Honor or something, because it's going to be crazy. Sorry about the slurping. I've got a can of J2O, which is a goal to drink, by the way. 30 seconds until the race starts. We've got about an hour to finish this race, because I've got to leave pretty sharpish by the end. So let's hope we haven't got too many safety cars. I'm definitely predicting a couple at least, maybe even 3 if we're unfortunate. But we're expecting close racing, tight racing, difficult racing, and plenty of wheel banging, and plenty of paint being left on some sidewalls and walls, I imagine, as we're about to get racing here in Japan. In IRL round 8, it's going to be a crucial one for Brandon Glover and the Aston Martin team. What can we do with the 5 red lights are on, and they are gone, and we are racing, and Bobby seems to get a pretty average start, except Cameron Young getting an awful start, looks like, as the Ferrari's already on his inside, go flying past. It's going to be 3-1, there's so much changing on the back there. Bobby just flying away, the Aston Martin, all the way round on the outside. Bugatti, Alfieri up to P4, very nice from him. Paco also in P5. Fergus Wilson falling further and further down the order, however, down in P6. Oh, good start from him. Cameron Young dropping down 1 position as Lewis Curtis getting himself up to P2 already. Kevin Harrison dropping 1 as well. Connor overtaking him, jumping at the start. Ross Denham still sitting there in P8. As it looks like Laggy has fallen down to the back of the order, spinning in the S section. Unfortunate for him. As Sanjay gets past the IUJT, he's going to be on the outside for the domino car. It's very difficult to go, dipping his wheel into the gravel, only just keeping a car on the track. Very nice move from him, only just the IUJT also going wide. That's going to cause them some warnings, so they keep doing that. They're going, oh no, a spin in the back as the Haas gets past the Alfa Romeo, coming up into the hairpin. Thomas MacGyver gets in front of Jared Fosbury. Jared Fosbury trying to make up for his calamitous qualifying. Looks like he's just dropping further and further back again. It looks like it's Hamrick who has gone round, and it's Cameron Young, almost a second behind Lewis Curtis, who is right on the back of Bobby coming up into 130i. I'm telling you, the slipstream here is going to be crucial, and as you can see, Lewis Curtis has so much more straight line speed. We saw this again in Italy. Bobby did not have any straight line speed at all, and it's just Lewis Curtis gets flying straight in front of him before 130i. He's even have coming into chicane. Bobby can do nothing about that on his hard tyres. As you can see, Lewis is also on the softs, which we can take a look at here. The strategy is going to be quite different today. Some medium hards, maybe a couple of 2 softs as Fergus Wilson gets in front of Paco. The Alpine team probably having a bit of team orders there. Brandon Glover in P7, he's going to want to catch up to these lot pretty quickly. He's on the hards, however, a few drivers ahead of him on softer tyres, so we can expect him to be slower than them for this section of the race. But Matt Hatton is all over the back of Ross Denham here. I love this camera angle coming through the first corner. Looks beautiful. Can we see any moves being made through this section of track? Currently it's just this train down for the lower end of the points. Look, it's pretty nice right now. Sectors, oh, yellow flag sector 1, 2, 3. Sandre getting a little bit wiggly. Is this, oh, having to let IJT pass them as well. Is this a virtual or a full safety car? I'm trying to have a look, but right now we can see this train doing quite well. I mean, not much has really changed off the start here. If we go position change, yeah, just a few people going up, a few people going down a little bit. Lewis Curtis with a great start, looking good, but honestly nothing too interesting happening off the start right now. I mean, everything's just as we expect. A few incidents here and there. Hamrick, Thomas having to pull into the pits after that lap one, probably picking up a little bit of damage between themselves. But Alfieri getting a good start. We haven't seen much of him this season, you know, considering he is the championship holder. I keep saying it. We haven't seen much of him. He hasn't really impressed us. Hasn't been his game, but right now sitting in P4, just behind Cameron Young. Could this be the day where he changes it all and maybe gets himself onto the podium for the first time this season? He almost goes flying past him coming into the chicane. I still can't tell if this is a full or virtual safety car, however. I mean, I can't see the safety car on the track anywhere, so I can only assume it's virtual. But we have been behind this for a while. There we go. DRS is enabled. I think we must be racing at full speed now. But I've still got yellow flag sector 1, 2 and 3, so I cannot really tell. Yeah, there you go. Matt Haddon's going to try and go up the inside of Ross Denham. We're going to go around the outside if he can through this section. It's going to be pretty difficult to go side by side. He has to pull out. Surely he had to. I got yellow flag still, which is really, really difficult. Oh no, the McLaren Lodi! He's off into the gravel as well. Dropping further and further down the order. It might have been a reset to the track. I don't know how he managed to get there that quickly. So, I mean, you can only guess. Lewis Curtis is getting past Bobby, though. Up in P2, the yellow flags need to get removed because I don't know what's going on. I didn't realise that we started again. Fergus Wilson still down in P5. Is Sandre? Oh, is that Kevin? Kevin's round! Oh no! Kevin, the man who's so famous for staying on the track, you know, keeping everything clean and consistent and happy, is down in P16 after a spin. Jared getting a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. And Kevin taking another hit for the Aston Martin team, with Brandon Glover only in 7th right now, which isn't looking great for them at all, considering the Mercedes team are now going to be outscoring them in the Constructors. Again, Edward Hart isn't here, so as long as Brandon finishes 8 or above, then he will overtake him in the standings. And oh, look at that in front. That's Alfieri and Paco. Sorry, it might be Fergus Wilson actually having a little bit of a fight. Alfieri going side by side down the main straight. I'm sorry I missed that, but up into P4 he goes, except Fergus Wilson hasn't given up. He's got so much more straight line speed on his hard tires. He's going to have to try and go around the outside. It's also the Aston Martin and the Alpine behind as well. The Alpine team getting really stuck in today as Fergus drops further and further down as he gets overtaken by everybody by going a little bit wide, and Jared just gets penalty after penalty right now. As there's a fastest lap and Sancho retires, Luke retires, and Lordy retires. 3 people. Lots of people out the race. What's going on? It's a full safety car. It must be a restart. Surely. What's happened? Restart. Brilliant. I haven't got time for this. That's 2 races in a row we've had a restart now, so everything you've seen is null and void. But what we can say is Lewis Curtis is looking fast today. He's looking good, but so is Bobby, don't forget. So unfortunate for Kevin having a little... As you can see, everybody now crashing off into the wall, having a bit of fun. Go on, ping it into the wall, Kevin, I dare you. Go for it. Really give us a show. I want to see it, but there you go. Into wall he goes. That's disappointing. Let's hope this next section of the race goes quickly, because I don't want to abandon the stream midway through, to be honest with you. Hi, JT saying his internet's dangerous today. Yeah. Couldn't overtake people who kept giving people illegal overtakes. That's why Kevin got... No, Kevin. Jared got penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. So, it explains a lot. It's very annoying to see. It's very odd to see so many cars just crash in random locations at random times. So, that's very upsetting. And another day where I just, you know, have to waffle at you for a bit. I don't really have time for it, and I'm quite afraid I'll have to leave early. So, that's very sad to see. 2 weeks in a row we've had a restart, and it's very upsetting. Never mind. So we're just going to sit and wait for the new lobby to be created, get everybody in their positions, get everything nice and happy and good. I would be happy, but yeah, what can you do when this game is broken? Every year we get something new, a nice new little glitch. We can't even have formation up because your tyres get ruined. I was about to swear, but I'm trying to be good. This time we have a yellow flag glitch where you can't overtake unless we just want to have a procession to the end. That would be pretty exciting, eh? But we've got 5 cars left in this race. They've all left the lobby instead of crashing, which is very sad. Besides Mr. Fly High. Lewis was his name? I can't remember. Oh no! Let's have a look. Ping it into the wall though, I tell you. It'll be fun and exciting, I promise. I'm trying to look at the Haas cars. Can you see? What am I up to? Jeremy Pope is his name, there you go, I'll remember it at some point. Oh man. Good evening, Mr. Sundry, how are you today? Sorry I missed your little comment. I'm probably trying to gather myself for the restart. Makes it stressful and annoying. And I don't want to go back into the lobby just yet because we need to have some form of excitement and movement on the screen, you know. It's like the TikToks whenever you want to watch like a few little Reddit threads. But then you got Mario Kart playing about in the background. I mean, I don't see why not. Sure, look at. We just gotta wait for this lobby to be restarted and we can go again. There it is. Kevin's giving me an invite. We've already got 10 drivers in the lobby, so shouldn't be too long until we get going again, I hope. I mean, we can only hope we get going a bit. We've got 50 minutes until I have to leave. Maybe just before. So I have work to do. It would have been all good if everything went to plan, but it doesn't look like it, so I'm very sorry that I may have to leave you all some point during this stream prematurely. Which isn't what we like to see as we go back to spectating. Have to wait for everybody to join this lobby, otherwise we're kind of finished and it won't be looking good for us. So blame the game for everything sad and bad about our lives on F1 and League Racing. So never mind. What can you do? But again, like I said, we know that Lewis Curtis is looking quick today. We know that Bobby is looking quick. And a few other drivers, Kevin and Brandon, are probably thanking the stars. You know, hoping to improve on that last session. I mean, it wasn't their best, it wasn't their finest hour. I know they're sure they could do better. They could probably make up a few more positions. I mean, different incidents can occur now. Anybody who spun, anybody who crashed, could be absolutely over the moon. I mean, it's time for everybody to just reset, restart, and go again. Have a second crack at it. Hopefully, anybody who did good, they stay on the track as well for the second time around. But there's no promising anything, so we'd have a few upset little racing drivers here after this. Once again, red flag due to technical difficulties and this god-awful game that cannot work for its life, basically. So, what can you do? One of those things. Something out of our control. Poor little IRL can do nothing. Only a few little men run this league. And we thank them dearly. They've been putting in an absolute shift the last few years to make a pretty solid, very consistent league with very few dramas and problems. So we thank IRL because they're great. It's just unfortunately we haven't got the 3 divisions again. Because that'd be pretty cool. I'll miss it. Because F2 was, Kevin Harrison was the F2 king. He was a GOAT down there. He was able to slap up not quite the F1 standard when we had, what's it? Matthew. Oh my god, I've forgotten Matthew's last name. Matthew Alder, what's wrong with me? Matthew Alder, he, well, dominated, of course. He's one of the best drivers in the game. Always is. He's an absolute GOAT. Leaving the league, and we haven't quite got the same F1 since. We've still got a quick selection of drivers, just we're missing a few of those stars as it used to be. But still a very competitive league, and we're happy to see it still continuing today. So, what can you do? There's only so much I can praise IRL though before we get back into this race, because I need to get going. We're missing 2 drivers currently who have been slow. Maybe not even joining back, but they need to get a move on, in my eyes. I think I'll send a mildly aggressive chat into the Discord and hope they listen. We've got 45 minutes to finish this race, so I think I might be in the bin. Also, Fergie putting in a good point saying don't start instantly, people need setups. That's very true. I always forget about that whenever we do a restart. That setups are important and they need to be done. So there you go, we have Connor finally joining the lobby, and we should hopefully be able to get going in a second. Apparently he had to make up his setup again because it wasn't safe for the race. But it looks like a few more people are running up. We're missing IUJT, who's decided to drop out. IUJT, because he's decided to drop out due to Wi-Fi, and he's afraid of his connection ruining the race. So, no, a valiant decision from him. A good decision maybe, for the sake of all drivers, but disappointing for him not being able to race to his full standard today. So we're just waiting for the go ahead to ready up. I can see Paco Suarez typing in the chat. He's still in the grid? Okay. In that case we sit and wait for the grid. We're almost ready to go. Once we have the 10th driver ready up then. Here we time. Paco trying to tell me 5 more minutes doesn't hurt. It does hurt, because I'm going to have to leave before the end of this race. Because there's going to be a safety car and I'm going to have to bolt. I'm going to have to run. Because I'm probably going to be pretty late as it is. I've said pretty much everything I can say now, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm not very interesting man. Actually, I can say Haaland is going to be the greatest striker of all time. 100%. Another hat-trick against United. I mean, I know United isn't much to shout about, but a hat-trick is a hat-trick. That I said earlier on my own stream on Twitch. I mean, Haaland's kids, when he ever has any, are going to have the best time of their lives because they're going to have the top quality balls and so many of them. No matter how many times they kick it into a bush or kick it over a fence and their neighbour nicks it, he's going to be happy. He's going to be having a great time. Maybe they can do what they want forever with the best balls. Because he scores so many hat-tricks, it's ridiculous. I wish I was him, for real, for real. But some people just aren't human. Okay. Gone back into the lobby, we just gotta wait for everybody to put on their setups, sort out their strategy, and then we can be ready to go again, and I can start shouting into your ears once more. I'm trying to work out who actually got a good start or not, because I always find that very difficult to judge. I don't actually know the results of the F1 race today, if I'm honest. So I can't comment on that either. But, you know. Just went for Lordy, Jeremy Pope and Matt Hatton. Oh, now it's just Jeremy Pope and Matt Hatton to get themselves ready and get them moving on. Come on, Jeremy. It's all down to you, mate. You're the final one. You're the last link. You're the final link. You're the one. Let's go. Let's move. I was just going to have to wait for the timer to tick down now. Blame him for any delays. Disgusting behaviour. Anyway. I'm going to get a nice little view. Paco saying to Jeremy, take your time in the chat. Funny guy. Anyway, again, we've got nice clear weather. Nice bright blue skies. Nothing different. Nothing changed. Everything is just the same as before. We're going to wait for the 30 seconds timer until we start getting ourselves truly ready to go again and start screaming again for this race, and hopefully there's going to be a few angry drivers, I imagine, when everything goes wrong in just a few minutes after they got the perfect start before. I mean, not many positions really changed on the last restart. A few people, you know, made up a couple, went down a couple, a few spins, of course, changing things, but in all honesty, nothing really dramatically changed. No one made some diving moves or anything really different, so it's not really so bad. All depends on how it changes now, because we've got 3, 2, 1, and we are about to begin once more here in Japan. Round 8. The 5 red lights are on. And they are going to be a race once again in Japan. It looks like Cameron Young is a better start this time. Bobby again, and look at that, Lewis Curtis once again with the fantastic start. Bobby, brilliant on the launch again. Lewis Curtis not being able to get past Cameron this time, going a little bit on the grass. Fergus Wilson trying to go around his outside, almost making mistakes there. In fact, he has dropped himself down the grid because he was trying to do that. Just knocking off a bit too much pace and dropping down the order. Alfieri getting a fantastic start, going all the way up into P3 as well. Brilliant stuff from him. Ross Denham up into P6 as well. So there we go. So more of a dramatic start this time as Lordy gets himself overtaken by Matt Hatton. He's going to try and fight his way back, coming through the Dunlop curves. He said nobody's really going to make a move through here. Surely not. It's too difficult. Connor going out quite wide though, I think, at the back there. Unless there's somebody else's. There you go. Fergus Wilson gets in front of Ross coming into hairpins. And there you go. The Aston Martin tries to go diving down the inside. Is Brandon Glover up the inside of Ross Denham. He can't really make it happen. Except the Alfa Romeo. Matt Hatton getting a good exit. And Brandon dropping down one more position. He says he's going to try and hold around the outside on his hard tyres. Is he going to be able to make it? Coming up into Spoon, it's going to be difficult. And he gets in front of Matt Hanford now. Matt Hanford still trying to hold around the outside. Brendan Glover forcing him out wide. And there you go, the McLaren Lordy trying to go up the inside of him as well, trying to take advantage of whatever fighting is going on there. Lewis Curtis only going side by side with Cameron Young, blasting down the straight on those soft tyres. More straight line speed to Slipstream, really carrying him through. Cameron getting out really far wide, coming up into his chicane. No moves being made. Anyone at the back there trying to do anything crazy? There you go, Brandon going up the inside of Ross Denham. Looks like he's got the exit on him as well. And there goes Matt Hatton again trying to squeeze his way through. That's what he's become accustomed to this race as Lordy goes flying down the grid as Connor goes into the pits as well. I'm not sure what happened to Lordy there, but it must have a little bit of spin, a mistake or something. Paco only 2/10 away from Brendan Glover as well, trying to fight for that 6th place. It doesn't look like he can do it. Alfie Ollie not too far from Cameron Young either. So there you go, after the start of this race we're going to look at the tyres. I never even got to talk about that before. There you go, Jeremy Popo overtaking Connor, who's pulled into the pits. Unfortunate start for him. Lewis Curtis only 3/10 away from Bobby in front. Bobby on the hards, Lewis on the soft, so you expect him to catch and overtake, especially through these little corners such as this one on the exits. These softer tyres are just going to fly past surely. Yellow flag in sector 2 though. That's Brandon Glover out of the race, and Paco Suarez too, and Jared. A 5-second time penalty. Ross Denham as well getting involved, getting himself 5-second time penalty for a severe collision. Yellow flag sector 1, 2 and 3. Brandon Glover and his title hopes have been crushed 2 races in a row. 5-second time penalty for Lordy as well for ignoring yellow flags. Brandon Glover and Paco getting involved in a mixer. Jared getting collected too by Ross. What happened there? I missed it. I was so busy looking at Lewis and Bobby. Is that my mistake? I'm not sure what happened. I mean, Brandon out, Lewis pulling into the pits off of his softs already. He's making a quick jump as the yellow clad Ferrari pit crew come out. He's going onto the hards, it looks like. Or is that... It is the hards, correct. A few other drivers pulling into the pits as well. Luke Baker, Kevin Harrison being one of them. Jared has started a call with me. Who'll join me in comms? Okay. I need to invite Jared to the party. Oh, fuck it. Sorry for swearing. I believe it's a safety car, however. Okay, yeah, it is, so we got loads of time. I'm looking for Neon Rapid. But my PlayStation is so slow, I can do nothing. I have to find him. IRL Neon. I couldn't remember his new name somehow. Hello, Jared. Now, I mean, since we've got a safety car, we can kind of just sit here and talk for a bit. What happened with you, Paco, Ross, and Brandon? How has that happened?
Well, I think what happened, Ross decided just to be Ross as usual, not think. Went straight into made a mistake with contact with Brandon and Paco. I tried to get around and I just got super glued to Brandon's tyre and it ripped it off. Which is a shame, but you know, it gives me a chance to do comms with you know, so.
Yeah, I finally have a co-commentator for the first time this season, even if I was absent
Indeed.
for about a
and
month.
A very experienced co-commentator, not like Kevin.
Disgusting, Kevin. But, I mean, what does that mean for Brandon and his title hopes? I mean, Edward Hart hasn't been here the last 2 races, and both times Brandon's had a stinker and lost out on so many points. He could have been at the top of the championship twice. 2 races in a row. Oh my god, Jeremy Pope's just gone flying off into the grass and got himself overtaken.
Well, yeah, about Brand there, you are right. This is a second time though this season he's done it. He did it last season when Alfie. Brand won, I think, 5 rounds. Alfie only won 3 or 2, and he still won the championship, missing a couple of rounds as well. And it looks like history's going to be repeating itself this time. Edward looking like he's going to win the title. But yeah, it's really kicking off today.
I mean, is that a common thing with Brandon? Just whenever he gets into the opportunity where he can just leapfrog to the top, something goes wrong for him, and is it just bad luck? Is it a bad skill? I mean,
well, I would say skill usually, but he's been slapping me in the championship as is normal. But no, he's had a couple of chances for championship hopes. He had that summer season, which we did, I think, a couple of years ago when he was fighting with Matthew, and he bottled that. Said he had a wheel issue. When we found out it wasn't a wheel issue, he just crashed, lost control of the car. And then last year, he could have won the title and he bottled it. So, I don't know, hopefully he can win it this year and get a championship under his belt. But, yeah, as we know, championships are hard to come by.
Oh, yeah. So true. I mean, it's just that 2 races in a row. Edward Hart hasn't been here. Last week, Brandon got himself caught in a... He seemed fine the entire race. Everything seemed to be good, great, happy. But then, right in the final few laps during a safety car, he lost it all, as we're going to be racing again in the second safety car in this lap. But we'll come back to Brandon, I'm sure, when everything gets calmed down a bit. Safety car runs up to chicane, ready to go back into the pits. We've got Bobby leading us out from the chicane. He's probably going to put his foot down straight away, get himself a good exit on this very short straight, so I imagine it's going to be pretty easy for him to get away. He's currently running in 3rd. He wants to get that good exit. There you go. His throttle is mostly down, all the way down. He's over to overtake now, and he is racing again. It's going to be Alfioli right on the back of Cameron Young running down this main straight. So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get quite near him coming into the S section, except Fergus behind him. Again, no overtakes being made. Nobody really being able to find any opportunities. Lewis Curtis down in P10, having pitted. He was having a great race earlier before the red flag, the restart. And Lordy, Luke Baker dropping down a few positions as well at the back. Fergus Wilson still trying to make a move on Alfioli, but through the S section it's just impossible to be able to make any sort of move. And Laggy as well with the ghosted Matt Hatton. Just going to breeze through him if he can, but I'm not sure why he's ghosted. I'm not sure if you can tell me any news there, Jared, but...
I think it's due because possibly lag, or he made a mistake and it ghosted him and they've just gone in. So I know he's left the session as well, it could be that. But yeah, Laggy, as well, speaking about Laggy, it's his first race back in IRL. We got him to sign up last minute to try and get us a full grid. And he's doing quite well right now, in 5th. Obviously we had a restart due to that glitch. But he's doing quite well, and same with Sandra as well, only 4 points this season, but there's been an incident.
Jerry Pope. It looks like the Haas team. Sorry, what are you saying?
Looked like the Haas lost it there on the hairpin corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that seems to be pretty common here today, as... who's that? Hamrick going around into the wall again. I'm literally just saying how traction seems to be such a problem with so many drivers here today. Nobody seems to be able to keep it on the track. And no chance for the entire 27 laps. We're only 5 laps in and we've already got 3 retirements and a good few spins as Matt Hazard just falls further and further down the grid as Sandro tries to get past, but still it looks like Thomas MacGyver as well getting involved there. Lewis Curtis going up into P7, Lodi in 3-second time penalty already for too many warnings.
Matt has rejoined the session, so he is back then, so he's going to be already on the attack on Thomas here, Jack. It looks like he's potentially going for an overtake on the outside into 1. We've only seen Kimi do this. Here he goes around the outside, and what a move.
On his own teammate, is still going side by side though. It's going to be Matt Hatton to go just in front of Thomas MacGyver. He can't make the move this time work. Thomas MacGyver dropping down 1 more position as Matt Hatton coming back into the session and instantly making his presence known. trying to make himself back after, I don't know, leaving for whatever reason. Not bad from him, and it's risky to go side by side through the S sections for so long. It loses you a lot of time and potentially your entire races. Here comes Fergus Whisky, just trying to go up the inside of the Mercedes into the hairpin. Alfieri gives him enough room, and he's going to try and take advantage of that. He does have the Mercedes on, does Alfieri, except can he get a better wreck? So the overtake is open for Fergus Wilson. His yellow flag is sector 1, 2 and 3 as Jeremy Pope retires from this session. Stops any fun from happening. Well, surely on your virtual safety car.
I am touching wood right now that it doesn't cause a glitch, because this is what happened last time. We had a VSC and then the lobby got screwed. Now, obviously, we wouldn't restart again if the lobby gets screwed. The only options then we would have is a potential rerun of the race next week, or as Hamrick's just spun on the VSC.
Oh dear.
And he resets the track. Gotta be careful doing that, because you get caught 5 seconds.
I mean, there's quite a few people caught in the stream before.
Glitch.
What are you saying about the glitch?
The VSC, hopefully it doesn't like stay on you. Remember back when you and me raced in 2020 in F2 when we had that safety car glitch and it kept coming out every couple of laps, then it stayed yellows sometimes for like a couple of laps before it went away again.
Honestly, cannot remember. But anyway, Alfieri putting into the pits to go into the hard tyres, which is pretty interesting. Bobby gets himself a drive-through penalty for speeding on the virtual safety car. Our race leader, who looks so quick today, just munting himself pretty much by going a little bit too quick and dropping himself way down the order, and inevitably in the next few laps he's going to have to, you know, drag himself through the pit lane and drop all the way down the grid.
Definitely, Hamrick has called it a day then as well today, in 15th. But I'll tell you what it does say though, Jack, my teammate Cameron could finally get his win this season. You know, I've been wanting him to get a win. He's had a couple of times and bowled it, but I think somebody has made a mistake. It's the OAP. It's the Bottle Hog. He's spun it and dropped all the way down to 11th.
What a surprise. I mean, we've seen it every week and again about Cameron Young getting himself his first race win this season. He had the opportunity of France. He was quicker than everyone. He was perfect. He was golden until he spun on his own completely and lost himself as a race win. So Cameron being plagued by his own demons, I guess. Just not being able to get across the line without some sort of incident. But Fergus Wilson behind him has the slipstream, but not quite able to get close enough to make any moves through 130R or the chicane. Chicane difficult to go side by side in, of course, since it's so tight, but if you get a good enough dive, then it is most certainly possible. But on the exit again, both on the hard tyres, so pretty equal as Fergus Wilson sets the fastest lap of the race as Bobby pulls into pits, except here comes Fergus. He's going to go on the inside of the Rebel driver into turn 1, and he makes a move before the corner is even there. Under braking, Fergus Wilson takes the lead of this race, hopefully trying to get his third race win of the season, I believe, but Cameron Young fighting for his first and for the title, oh my god, constructors title for Red Bull, still having to sit in that second place, so he can't even lead a lap. King Cameron, how does that feel for you, Jared, as his teammate?
Well, Cameron's been a very solid teammate all season long. You know, he didn't have the best season at the start. You know, he wasn't at form. He was a bit upset that I was ahead of him. He only finally just overtaken me in the championship, but you know, he's got his head together, kept pushing and practicing and keeping what he's doing in other leagues as well, doing quite well. So I think he has the chance to win. He know he can win. And Trappy has won 3 rounds now, 2 rounds in a row, I believe. But he's won 3 rounds. Trappy could be a favourite also for the title as well, since Brand's not here in Edward in here. So Trappy getting these 25 points gets very closer to the lead of the championship.
I mean, when you're calling Trappy, I keep calling him Fergus, and I think I'm calling him by the wrong name.
No, his real name is Fergus Wilson. I just call him Trappy.
Okay.
Usually his short name, but don't worry, Fergus Wilson is his real name.
I started to panic because I've done it before. I was like, oh god, what have I done?
Nah, it's perfect. It's okay. I'm used to commentating him in PSL sometimes. So, but right now he's picking up the pace, 32.7.
There you go, a fast start for him. But I'm going to look at Kevin Harrison as well. I mean, talking about constructors title and Red Bull, I mean, Kevin is the only hope for Aston Martin now. He's on the softs currently. He's trying to stay in the slipstream with Thomas, who's trying to overtake his teammate again. I mean, the Alfa Romeo guys are not afraid to get stuck in between each other. In fact, he's going to try and go up the inside, now for the outside, for the third turn in the S section, pulling out pretty smartly. I mean, I don't think it would have worked, but these two Alfa Romeo drivers really going for it between each other. You don't really want to fight your teammate, but this means Kevin Harrison on his softs, getting a bit worn now, of course, but he's getting himself in a better and better position to try and make an overtake if possible, but seems to be dropping behind just a little bit on some exits. I mean, how do you think Kevin's season has gone so far, Jack?
Well,
Because I think
he had the same as Cameron. He didn't have the best start of the season, but he's had Bran as a teammate. They've done very well in the constructors before, and I believe they're leading it at the moment, the constructors. And then Kevin started getting some good results, and he was actually keeping on par with me. I was getting a couple of podiums. I think he did get a podium last round. I think he got second. And as right now, he's actually catching up with the Alphas. He's had the
speaking of the
contact.
Alphas, there goes Thomas McGovern and Matt Hansen both round. This is why you don't fight your teammate, because any bit of contact is just send you around. And Kevin Harrison taking that 2 positions just like that, so easy, just getting behind, not getting stuck in, sitting behind enough, and just takes advantage of the contact. As Alfa Romeo drivers, teammates touch each other and send each other around outside of the points. So
and there's Alfie making a move against Luke there for 13th. But yeah, as we were on about Kevin though, Jack, he's starting to improve his pace. Don't get me wrong, the guy's quick. He beat me in an F2 championship. So it's, he's got the pace to be up here and he's doing quite well. But to get a podium today, I think it's going to be a big challenge. He needs that
he's
as
gone
well
very wide, however. And now it's going to be Lordy trying to take advantage of that. Gone round the outside. Kevin's softs wants to get a little bit worn. Lots of wheel banging. Somehow still sticking his nose in. If he keeps his car in front, it's an absolute miracle. He's going to be round the outside for this next corner in the S section. Onto the inside for the next. Still going side by side of these two. Brilliant racing as Lordy has to concede the position. Kevin Harrison just about staying in front. Except it's not over yet. Coming into the Dunlop curves, there's no way. Lordy sticks his nose in there. He knows better than that, but coming up to the hairpin, can he go for an absolute dive up the inside? I doubt it. Getting a little bit twitchy on the rear. Russ Denham isn't quite close enough to make anything of that. Kevin Harrison only just staying ahead, and I was about to say, he's not looking the quickest this season, but he is still his consistent
Sandra's
self.
overtaken. Sandra's been overtaken by someone there. Bobby McNee. Just got to remember all these driver names.
Yeah, you know my problem now. It's awful.
But yeah, Sandra's, he's ran wide again. He needs to change those softs. Unless he's trying to one-stop, soft hard, I don't think that's the way to go. I think medium hard is the best strat. But holding on ninth for now.
I mean,
second set of points.
Sandra can be a quick driver. We've seen it before, but this game he seems even worse than usual and genuinely spins every race and crashes every race as Connor's trying to get all over the back of him. I mean, Sandra surely has to pull into the pits now. Okay, yeah, he's smart enough for that at least, as Luke Baker gets himself a penalty. But Sandra, we call him the bottle hog, but I didn't quite realise it was this bad.
Yeah, he's a bit of less than first round. I think you remember. Ironically, Sandra usually doesn't spin at on safety cars, but it was Jeddah first round, and he spun on the safety car. I think he caused 3 safety cars for him making mistakes and spinning. He hasn't enjoyed the game, but he has been improving. I think round 3 was France, and he scored his first points. Matt scored a point before him, which he still can't believe happened. But he hasn't scored a point since France. Since he has the pace, he's just made a couple of mistakes, which has cost him either position or his DNF. But I think the old timers still got what it takes to score some points there.
I mean, hopefully so, but he needs to keep the car on the track. Every week he's spinning around, finding himself a new way to crash. I mean, what is it that's going wrong for him? Why can he not keep the car on the track? He was bad on other games, but never quite this level.
No, it's probably a shock to his system, but he'll probably come stronger next season as well. But right now, though, as probably you're watching right now, is Kevin. He's still holding his own, 8 laps on softs.
He's getting absolutely hounded by Lordy, though. I mean, surely Kevin's got to pull into the pits either this lap right now or the next one, because look, Lordy's all over him. He stays out, but there's no way Lordy doesn't get in front of him. He doesn't have the best line through the final corner, though, over the bump, but he's got the DRS, he's got the safety, he's got the overtake. Surely he's going to make a move. Kevin not giving him much track, but just about enough. He's going to go round the outside. Kevin still trying to hold on, but there you go. Lordy finally makes the move and finally gets ahead of Kevin. Kevin Harrison could never hold on forever. But he put in his shift, to be fair, but I imagine he's got to pull into the pits now for some hard tyres and go to the end. I mean, he's famous for his weird strategies, but there comes a point where you just got to concede defeat. But Ross Denham had a perfect view.
Yeah, that's probably his first time spinning with medium traction turned off, as he keeps turning it on and off, trying to establish what he wants to do. But yeah, 11th for Ross. He's not having
Bobby on Kevin, sorry.
best of seasons.
Oh, Bobby, all of the, oh, he's spotting Kevin actually. He's made contact with the back of Kevin is round, and the Aston Martin team take another blow as Bobby touches Kevin's rear coming into the hairpin and just takes him round. He was quicker, of course, but just couldn't hold back. Touching Kevin's rear, don't take that out of context, and sending him round.
Yeah, I don't want to take that out of context there, but yeah.
What could is some shush.
Oh, an interesting fight though. I've got to just quickly cut you off. Lewis Curtis, ready to make a move for third, and he's through. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and he's into third.
Like he almost seemed like he slowed down there as Lewis just blows past us. Luke Baker goes off into the wall. What's that? Spoon on the hairpin?
Safety car.
Spoon. Oh.
That could screw some of the guys up in the head because these guys are going to get a fresh set of mediums.
It's perfect for Kevin pulling into the pits now. Connor gone very slowly ahead of him. Connor, get a move on, fella.
Mediums can probably just make... no, actually, scratch that. Mediums can make this distance, to be honest, so everyone's going to probably pit for mediums. But Kevin...
See it.
Has he got any damage?
Kevin has no damage. He's all good. It's just that Connor was going very, 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 very slowly into the pit lane, holding him up a little bit as he jumps him, in fact. Getting ahead of that... What's that? Williams car. Just behind Bobby as well now will Kevin be once the restart gets going. Is he going to try and get a little bit of revenge? I'll bump Bobby off the track a bit, but everybody in the front now on the hards, they've got a while to go to get round into the pits. So they just try and firm it. Sorry. Do they just try and firm it on the hards to the end and just get themselves swamped by the mediums? Or, I mean, surely they have to pit, but then try and fight their way through.
Well, I do know from a couple of drivers who I was in the party with did say the hard tyre weren't the best. They'd rather have the mediums, but...
Oh, Bobby's retired.
He's actually crashed it.
In the S section
on the safety car. He's binned it. Yeah, he's completely off. Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, I was just talking about Kevin getting revenge. Maybe that's a bit of karma there for Bobby. He's been doing so well this season since he's joined the league. I mean, getting himself right up into the top 8 of the championship and makes that the 7th retirement this race. I mean, we almost had a full grid. Now we're down to 12. I mean, what's going wrong is all the hard tyres drivers seem to be pitting. Only Alfie and Ollie need to reach the pit lane. But this puts Kevin, not quite provisional lead. I don't think he'll be able to catch an overtake. I mean, he's all the way down the spoon. But the drivers at the front are so far ahead. It looks like they're going to be able to come out without having to concede any positions at all. So only Lordy dropping into the pits now.
That is true, yeah. We've got to also be careful. There is another safety car glitch, which I found in the league. We did 2 laps on the safety car, and then the safety car on the lap number 2, for some reason I was lead at the time, it like disappeared, and it dropped all the way back to 5th. So then all of us had to go back round again. Everybody had to go full throttle all the way back round. It was like near the end of the race. Caught it back up, and it did 4 laps then in the end the safety car. So we have to keep an eye out at this bug, because it could potentially lead to the safety car potentially being turned off or reduced, because we don't want to affect the racing that much. But we're getting a spicy turn of events though, Jack. Trappy, Cameron, Lewis, Laggy, and Alfie, and Lordy, and Kevin. All fighting.
I mean, Fergus Wilson is looking quick today. I mean, he's been looking quick ever since he joined. I mean, he's on great for himself right now, and it could be another race win here today. But Cameron Young again, another quick driver wanting to get his first win. He must be hungry. Lewis Curtis, again, another quick driver wanting to win. So if we don't get a massive all-out fight for the last 10 laps or so, then I will be upset. Laggy as well, kind of an outlier here in 4th, and then Alfie Ollie trying to salvage something from his season. The only driver on the hards right now, besides Matt Hatton at the back and Thomas McIver as well, so Alfa Romeo drivers again being weird. But yeah, Alfie Ollie may be putting himself in a bad position here, trying to secure some points for Mercedes, their only hope right now. Outscoring Aston Martin as it is, but will Kevin Harrison be able to get past him? Probably, because Lordy's a quick driver as well, so I mean, I imagine Kevin's just going to follow him for a while and then make whatever moves he can. If there's any mistakes in front, try and capitalise on that as he usually does. So
no, definitely.
It depends. I mean, Lordy's got a penalty as well, the only driver on the track to do so, and Kevin doesn't get penalties very often unless he breaks that pattern today. Then I mean, he's going to get 1-3 position anyway, and he could be looking at a top 5, maybe even a podium depending on what happens. But it just depends on how clean the drivers up the front can stay. I mean, if you're in this position, Jared, how would you play this safety car? If you're in Kevin's position or Fergus Wilson's position at the front, what do you do?
Well, if it was a 2018 mate, I'd go all out, just send it. But because I've learned, and you've got to be more safer on your overtakes, don't be a bit stupid. I would take best opportunities when you can. Like, obviously Alfie's going to hold up Lordy. Get them two, you need to get past it straight away, literally within the next 2 laps, and then instantly try and catch up with Lewis if you want a decent results for Aston. But I don't know. It depends how he takes himself. Obviously, Kevin won't listen to anything I've just said because he'll take it how he wants to take it. Obviously, we'll just have to see how he does. Right now, he needs to get a good result because now he's in a bit of trouble with the constructors. Because if Trappy wins today, that'll be 4 people in the constructors fight. Then 4 teams in the constructors. It'll be Aston, Red Bull, and Alpine.
Yes, Alpine are making quite a late charge in this season. I mean.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, with Fergus Wilson getting a full-time seat, he suddenly just pinged them up the order. I mean, Paco being the first retirement of this race down in P19, but right now Spurg is just really carrying them all the way to a constructors fight. And in the last few races of the season, only about 4, 5 more races to go. I mean, Alpine could make a late charge.
Yeah, it's anybody's game. I think the safety car will be in this lap then, so obviously I'll let you do the fronts in case a massive crash between Cameron and Trappy happens. I'll obviously check the back in case.
I'll scream if that happens. I mean, I would say I'm over the I'd be over the moon, but I don't think I can really say that. But either way, it's going to be exciting. Yep, you're right. Safety car is in this lap. The lights are off, and they're going to be ready to go. Fergus Wilson again is going to be the one to lead us out. It was Bobby before. He went pretty much straight after the chicane. I can only imagine Fergus is going to do the same. Only 12 drivers are left, so it's going to be a lot more of a contained race, a lot closer this time. Not many people left, so 2 more retirements and you get automatic points. So it's going to be Fergus leading them,
wings in the back,
still holding, and there you go. He's released. Sorry to cut you off, but here we go. His overtake is open again. Another great start for him. Lewis Curtis all over the back of Cameron. Fergus just wiggling all across the straight. Yellow flags is sector 3 already, as it looks like it's Sondre and Connor both going off the track. It's Laggy, only a 10th behind Lewis. No overtakes being made just yet. Lordy can't get past Alfie Ollie. Kevin 2 seconds behind Lordy already. What has happened to him? Why is he so far back?
I'll let you know on that. When the safety car was about to go in the chicane, Capricorn slowed down and Kevin just ran into the back of him. Lost, he's got wing damage to the right end plate. But on Sondre's side, I don't know why he's gone. That's why he's spun it a little bit and gone into the wall. Looks like, and he's missed part of his end plate. So Sondre and Kevin and Connor Setchell not having a good start, and Kevin loses more positions now. He's dropped 10th. So right now he could only be getting 1 point, and if it keeps going the way it's going, Aston could score 0, and that could be a major opportunity for the Red Bull, Alpine, and Merc team. But look at Sondre, Jack. He's spun it again.
Oh dear, I was wondering what the yellow flags were for. I mean, no surprises again. Lord, he's just behind Alfie Ollie though. He's getting quite close. I'm trying to keep an eye on that. But also Ross Denham behind Thomas behind them also. But Kevin, for the Aston Martin team, of course there's only 2 people behind him now, quite far away, but it's not looking good for them at all. What's this going to mean for the constructors? Can they keep it up? Brendan taking another hit, not being able to get past Edward Hart in another race. Mercedes looking like they're going to take home some points. Red Bull looking like some good points despite your retirement. Alpine as well, looking to get some good points. I mean, it's not looking good for Aston Martin in this mid-stage of the season. Fergus Wilson says the fastest lap of the race, and there you go, Lordy getting a good exit through the final corner. Alfie Ollie on his Haas, just getting swamped. He has got his overtake open, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do anything about that this time. And now the 2 McLaren drivers are together again, 4th and 5th. Lordy been very consistent this season, getting around between 7th and 5th. Pretty much every single race, so it looks like he's going to be able to keep that up this time. Can he drop himself into the top 5, get himself into 4th, maybe a bit of team orders, but Laggy looks quick and he's all over the back of Lewis Curtis right now. Lewis can't keep up with the drivers in front.
He went a bit deep there. He almost did a Bobby, almost lost the car there, but kept it under control. Alfie's keeping him in check. Oh, scratch that. Lordy's just made a big bottle there. He's now lost the position. No damage though, and he got some addition and another, so he's down to 8th. Lordy,
I was just praising him out of the commentator's curse, I guess, but sending himself round, lost the traction, hurts you so much around this track. But Thomas McIver all over the back of Ross Denham. I mean, a man you criticised earlier for being him, not thinking, causing an incident, which I guess caused a chain of reactions all the way down to the end. Also, we've only got 10 minutes until I need to leave and 10 laps to go. You might have to do...
just in case, and I'll get the backup screen just in case.
Yes.
While you come over that.
Be ready. But there you go, Lordy going up the inside of Thomas McGuire, coming into the chicane. Thomas doesn't really put up much of a fight. Fergus Wilson taking another fastest lap of this race, still trying to pull away from Cameron, except Cameron, with DRS now enabled, still within the second. Can he make a move for the race win at some point during this race? Potentially, maybe. We're just going to have to wait and see. Lewis also within a second of Cameron. And of course, Cameron within a second of Fergus. So, a three-way train for the podium. All quite distant from each other. In the final few laps of this race, do you think these are going to be able to close up and just have a go for this race win and crash potentially?
It all depends really. You know, you've got to have the pace. You've got to maintain a consistent pace. You know, you can't just do one lap wonders. But I think they could. You know, Trappy could easily make a mistake. You know, he's made a couple of mistakes before, which cost him a potential win, where he only I think scored a couple of points. So anything can happen. And the top four are usually the bottlers. Not really Fergus. Not really that much, but Cameron, he's made a couple of mistakes which cost him results. Lewis, as you know, in Australia, he qualified first and pinned it on the final corner. And Lewis, on his debut, maybe the pressure might get to him. So we just have to wait and see for now, and just keep it posted. And they look at.
Speaking of,
yeah,
Cameron Young, 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, it's not what I needed from him, but it is a shame there for Cameron. But he's still going to get a really good result. He could finish fourth. 12 points, better than none, which right now
I think it seems. I mean, depends how much he fights with Lewis, who's closing the gap just a little bit. He's not too far away from Fergus as well. As Alfieri is going side by side with Lordy as he drops down one position. Ross Denham are going to try and come on the back of this. Now, I'm not sure what happened there, I only caught the end of it, but Alfieri dropping down the position, Lordy getting himself back up into P5, which is where he was before his spin. So a great recovery from him somehow. 8 seconds behind his teammate, however, but up at the front we've got Lewis closing in on Cameron, who's got himself a 3-second time penalty. Baby dropping himself down to fourth as Laggy closes in on this fight as well. So the top four getting closer and closer, bunching up. And just Fergus, can he pull himself out of that second gap that he's so close to doing, but can he get those extra couple of tenths, just a tiny little better exit to just fly away from anybody else? We'll have to wait and see as we come into the final few laps or so. I mean,
yeah, definitely. I think that can happen. But Cameron, I think now is going to go all out attack. I think to just try and slow Trappy down to make sure he doesn't score the most points to gain on the constructors fight. But who are you going to really let win this race? You're going to let Lewis win this race, as Sonja picks up a 3-second,
and like he picks up a 3-second time penalty. So
it's really heating up
in this final little section of the race. Consistency is dropping. I mean, Lewis and Fergus looking pretty happy and consistent. Kevin down in P10. I mean, there you go. Matt Hatton is all getting 3-second time penalty. Who's next? I mean, Lewis looking quicker and quicker as Cameron is dropping behind Fergus more and more per lap. Lewis, he has this second place pretty much secure considering the penalties around him as long as he keeps consistent. I mean, is he going to fight Cameron? Does he want to fight Cameron? If he wants to go for this race win, then he's going to have to. Cameron making a mistake though, coming up into the Dunlop curves. There's no way Lewis can try and make a move here. It's too difficult, too fast and too tight. But the hairpin is most certainly an option in the run up to Spoon. If Lewis wants to have a chance of winning this race, he has to get past Cameron now, almost, because Fergus wasn't as quick, and we know it. And when he's in a leading position, there's not much catching him. He's good. He's good at what he does. He knows what to do. Stays calm under pressure. Not much of a battler, like you said. So it's all down to Lewis now to give us an interesting race and just blast past Cameron. But only half a second away, but cannot seem to make that final push on Cameron. Again, I'm going to come to you. Sanjay retiring from this race. Looks like in the pits.
Yeah, I think he's called it a day, which is a shame. It does happen. But he could have still scored points. Kevin could have made a mistake, so I don't know, I think it might have been a bit too early to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a mistake from Sondre. It looks like he actually went soft sets because he retired in this, but still, I think he still had an opportunity to score points today, so it's a bit premature. Except here comes Lewis Curtis. He's going to go up the inside of Cameron. No, he's not. He backs out. Decides better
Yeah, that was,
of
I
it.
think that was due to Sondre's AR yellows
Oh
caused
God!
that, so he was screwed by his teammate.
Nice. Lots of teammate action and the calamities here today. I mean, the Alpha Romeo team we saw making mistakes with each other. Also, Jared, I'd get that spare stream ready if I was you, because I literally need to leave in 2 minutes.
Yeah, don't worry, it's already in set, so if you do need to get going, just let me know.
Okay, I'll round out these next couple of laps, see if I can see anything interesting going, as Alfiali only 2 tenths away from Lordi ahead of him. We can curse that restart for me not being able to finish out this race. I'm very upset because this is interesting. I'm happy. So, I'm disappointed that if this game was less broken. Yellow flag is 6-2, however. Surprise, surprise. Everybody's saying pretty in character today as the Alfa Romeo boys again right behind each other, having a little bit of a fight. Look at these two pushing each other around the entry to Spoon. Can any moves be made here? Is Matt Hatton behind? Is he going to try and dive up the inside of Thomas? Doesn't look like it. Thomas going out a little bit wide. Matt Hatton taking a tighter line, trying to find the inside line. Cannot find it. Lewis not far away from Cameron either, coming down to the main straight. We've got the helicopter cam that goes away, very sadly. I love the helicopter shots. I want more. I want them permanently. But Lewis doesn't look like he's going to get close enough to Cameron again. It's not going to be his lap, unfortunately. 5 laps to go. Lewis still sitting behind, only 2 seconds away. It's Matt Hatton. Oh no, sorry, Thomas spins and goes dropping down into 9th. Kevin, he's way too far away to be able to capitalise on that. Still sitting in P10 is he. Connor, the only one outside the points. As Lordi gets overtaken by Alfiali coming into the S section. Probably a nice move from him that I unfortunately missed, but everything seems to be equaling out. Ooh, Lewis getting wiggly on the rear as well. But Jared, I am going to abandon you. And I'm going to let you take control of the comms. So anybody still here?
Yeah, that's not a problem. I'll get the stream up now.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
I'll see you soon, Jared. Thank you for taking
I'll see you later.
comms with me. I love you very much, and I hope to see you back here again after you retire.